In spite of its cutting-edge special effects, the 2009 sci-fi epic Avatar wasn't for everyone. Here's why some viewers say it should have come with a warning label. When Avatar hit theaters in 2009, the film was considered a cinematic marvel. Cameron and 20th Century Studios spent months marketing the film not just as a film, but an experience. One that could only be truly appreciated by seeing the film in 3D and IMAX. The story of Avatar has been jokingly referred to as Dances with Wolves in space, but anyone buying a ticket for Avatar in 2009 already knew that. Audiences weren't tuning in for a weird, white savior sci-fi fantasy for story. They were there for the spectacle. To give credit where it's due, Avatar is as visually striking as promised, and the attention to detail paid when crafting the extrasolar moon of Pandora and the designs of the Na'vi is genuinely remarkable. Avatar truly was in a league of its own in terms of cinematic technological advancements. The late and legendary film critic Roger Ebert called the film a technical breakthrough, and Ann Thompson of IndieWire described it as a joyous celebration of storycraft and the visual possibilities of cinema. Even those most vocally critical of the film's lackluster storyline were kind enough to highlight the film's technical prowess, which was further cemented by its Academy Award wins for Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, and Best Visual Effects. As much as the visuals have been praised over the years, there's one major problem with crafting a film of this scope. It runs the risk of making some viewers physically sick.
I may throw up on you.
3D movies are a fantastic way to captivate an audience, but for those that experience Vergence accommodation or 3D motion sickness, it can be an utter nightmare. Vergence accommodation is the name for the mismatched cues received by your brain as your eyes try to process the distance of a virtual 3D object and the focusing distance required for the eyes to place the object. In many instances, people are unable to send cohesive cues to the brain to figure out what the object is and its distance from them due to the 3D image existing on a different visual plane than the actual movie screen. The eye and mind's constant attempts to recalibrate can result in headaches and feelings of nausea and dizziness. In some extreme cases, it can even trigger vomiting or, in the case of one man in Taiwan, death. Avatar was not the only instance of 3D from around the turn of the aughts to cause this phenomenon, as Nintendo had similar complaints following the release of their handheld Nintendo 3DS console. Entertainment presented in 3D was few and far between around this time period, and the eyes of most viewers hadn't been bombarded with constant visual stimuli or ultra-high-definition imagery the way they are now. Unfortunately for those that feel the effects of 3D motion sickness, 3D and high-definition visuals are far more common today than they were in 2009, and our dependence on screens has skyrocketed. If you're concerned about possibly getting sick in the theater, here are a few tips that might help. First, try closing one eye. Real D 3D glasses still work even with only one eye. Additionally, sitting as far back and in the middle of a movie theater as possible can also help prevent irritation. Finally, try fixating your gaze to the part of the screen that is in focus and avoiding the out of focus or background elements. Most importantly, do not take the 3D glasses off. As much as it seems like it may be a good idea, the constant adjustment and readjustment for your eyes will only make things worse. Unfortunately, according to the American Optometric Association, roughly 16% of people are affected by something called 3D vision syndrome, a condition which complicates an individual's ability to look at 3D imagery. 3D vision syndrome can result from conditions such as amblyopia, strabismus, convergence inefficiency, and convergence excess. The only real treatment in these cases is vision therapy, but chances are, if you're in this 16% of people, this isn't new information. Avatar: The Way of Water debuts in theaters on December 16, 2022.